Hello everyone, today I'll be reviewing Alien. So Alien came out in 1979 and was directed by Ridley Scott, and this is a science fiction film. So in many ways this film doesn't really need an introduction because it's such a well-known film, but the film starts off with 7 crew members aboard this spaceship, and the ship is heading towards Earth, but the ship's computer, who is known as Mother, receives a transmission from a nearby moon. So the ship goes down to this moon in order to investigate what is going on down there. So some of the crew members, they go down towards the moon to investigate, and one particular crew member, who's played by John Hurt, he discovers this area where there are lots of eggs. So John Hurt goes to investigate, and a creature bursts out of this egg and attached itself to John Hurt's face, rendering him unconscious. So some of the other crew members, they help him out and they carry him back to the ship. They're slightly unsure whether they should bring him into the ship or not because the creature may be contaminated. It may bring a foreign disease into the ship, but nevertheless they bring him onto the ship and try and get the creature off his face. All of a sudden though, this creature escapes and is let loose onto the ship. So this obviously worries all the other crew members, and really throughout the rest of the film it's a battle between this monster, this alien, and the rest of the crew members aboard the ship. The crew members desperately trying to track down and kill this creature which has been let loose on the ship, but at the same time this alien is picking off each member of the crew and eventually killing some of them as well. So this is obviously a very famous science fiction film. It's arguably one of the best science fiction movies of all time, and I think still, even after all these years, this film being more than 40 years old, is still a very watchable and extremely entertaining film. And we have a fantastic cast of actors here. Obviously there's only really 7 characters in the film, but that they're all individually brilliant. So we have Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright, Tom Skerritt, John Hurt, Ian Holm, Harry Dean Stanton and Yaphet Kotto. All fantastic actors, all giving great performances. And obviously the real star of the film is Sigourney Weaver. And right from the start we know that her character is very knowledgeable about what is happening here. And in fact all the other characters, they all have something individual to say, but some of the other characters, they actually start out seeming as if they're intelligent, seeming as if that they have everything under control, when in many ways they actually don't. And that is what was interesting about the film, is that our opinions of some of the characters start to change very quickly actually after some of the events in this film. Now I'd already seen this film a few times before. Actually no, I say a few times, this was actually only the second time that I'd seen this film, and upon rewatch I was actually quite surprised about how slow the first half of this film is, but that's actually to the film's credit and actually makes the second half a lot more entertaining because there's lots of build up. It's quite a while before we actually see the alien, but in some ways this actually really does work to the film's advantage, because when we get those exciting and those intense scenes, so much tension is built up, which means that those scenes are much more impactful and they have much greater effect in terms of shocking the audience, in terms of giving that entertainment value and sort of, I suppose, giving the audience a bit of a fright. There's a very iconic scene where this creature bursts out of John Hurt's chest, and it's a very bloody, very quick scene, very brief. It's a very memorable scene, very iconic, and it's just filmed so well that if you're watching it for the first time, it almost comes out of nowhere. It's very unexpected, but it's done very well, and it's one of those scenes that's obviously gone down history as a very iconic science fiction or very iconic horror movie moment. Absolutely fantastic. Another thing that I really love about this movie is the fact the film never really reveals too much of the alien straight away. Throughout most of the film, we often only really see a little bit of the alien lurking in the background, so the film never actually overwhelms us with the alien, but we always know the alien is there. We know the alien is somewhere on this ship. We know it is dangerous. We know it's there, and we know the crew members are obviously terrified. And we're following these crew members, and We're sharing their pain that there is something which could be right behind them, it could be right around the corner, it could be right about to attack them, but we simply don't know. But we can sense it's there, and that is what the film does extremely well. So this film has obviously had quite a few sequels. It's actually become one of those big film series, and I actually haven't really seen many of the sequels, so I have seen the sequel to this, which is called Aliens, which again stars Sigourney Weaver. But that film it's much more of a fast-paced, much more of an action film, and obviously, as you can tell by the title, that film has multiple monsters. This film only has one creature, there is only one enemy, and I personally actually prefer this film to Aliens, but I think a lot of other people do tend to prefer Aliens. But I think that this film, Alien, it's a much more focused film. It's really obvious what it's trying to do. It takes its time. It has that build up and that impact that I think is what a science fiction film really needs. And that is why I think this is one of the best science fiction movies ever made. I know I've already said that, but I can't hammer it home enough that after all these years, this film still holds up really well. And in terms of the effects, yes, they still look extremely good. So as you can probably tell, yes, I love this film. This is a fantastic movie. And if you're a science fiction film fan, obviously this is essential viewing. It's a must-see. If somehow you haven't seen this, then yes, absolutely watch it. And even if you don't like these kind of movies, I think this is one which everybody needs to see. It's such a fantastic movie. I think everybody can get something out of this film. Very refreshing in some ways to go back to a film like this and still find it has that entertainment value, that shock value, and just that amazing motion picture quality that you don't always get from films nowadays. Just bear in mind this film is over 40 years old. I think it still holds up extremely well. So for that reason, I am going to give this film a rating of 10 out of 10. So if somehow you've never seen Alien, go out there, watch it. I've got the Blu-ray of it. It also has a 4K release as well. But yeah, definitely worth viewing if you haven't seen it. So there you go, everybody. So that is my review of Alien. So what do you guys think? Have you seen Alien? If you have seen it, please let me know what you think down in the comments section below. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.